When the entrepreneur prepares the business plan, there are many components that the entrepreneur needs to analyze for the business plan. All of them are very important and they're crucial for the success of a venture. However, if we have to prioritize one aspect of a business plan, that probably generally is not the top priority for the entrepreneur, because the entrepreneur will be rushing to identify the right product market fit, to work on the technology, to streamline the operation for the business. However, there is one aspect which is extremely crucial and yet often overlooked. And this aspect is the organization and management part of the business plan. The organization and management part of the business plan will identify the culture in the overall management within the organization. So why is organization and management relevant to the business plan and more comprehensively relevant to entrepreneurship? We are going to discover this throughout this video lecture. First of all, organization and management is based on human relationship. Even in startups, even in technology startups, then the most important aspect is how you create the right culture, the right atmosphere for employees to nurture innovations, for employees to execute on the entrepreneurial plan. It's quite interesting that recently in the US, the focus of entrepreneurial studies has shifted. 20 years ago, the focus was stressing on technology. How can we create better technology? How we can find the right technology talents for technology startups. But nowadays, this is not the top priority for technology startups in the US. The top priority for technology startups in the US is human capital. Is essentially how to create the right culture, how to attract the right talents, how to grow thanks to the contribution of your employees, of the human beings in your organization. And that's why the focus, the emphasis has shifted heavily from technology 20 years ago, now heavily on the organizational side of entrepreneurship. There are also other reasons that justify studying organization and management and including organization and management in your business plan and to carefully consider about this point. And definitely one important point is that there are even financial outcomes, financial impact of an outstanding performance of organization and management of your company. So if you're able to really create a strength in this area, then the impact will last long, and this impact can be also seen in the financials of the organization with superior returns on your investment. It's also interesting that this is probably the most important factor that entrepreneurs as well as managers will deal with when we set up their companies or when they join a company for working. However, sometimes this is not the core subject studied at universities. So let's explore a bit deeper about organization and management, and specifically about what we define as organizational behavior. So the behavior that people and primarily managers display in an organization and how this behavior changes according to the circumstances, according to external conditions as well. So this will be the four main topics of this video. What is organizational behavior? What people do in organization? A scientific approach to organizational behavior, and why do we need to study and learn organizational behavior, especially in the context of entrepreneurial learning. A definition of organizational behavior can be the following. Organizational behavior is the study of human behavior in the context of organization. Human behavior is an academic discipline, so as I will show in this video, it's a science equally to many other sciences, equally to economic sciences, management sciences, and so on. In organizational behavior, we will analyze the behavior of individuals, but also the dynamics in the organization and how we can improve the performances of individuals. How can we motivate individuals that work in the organization? So essentially, organizational behavior is the knowledge allowing people that work together to improve their performances. The second topic is what people do in organizations. And what is an organization? So here the two main concepts that we are going to explore will be managers from one side. Managers have a central role in an organization. And just to clarify, here we are not talking about top management, executives, the leaders of the organization. So we're talking about all the people with some management functions, skills, responsibility in the organization. We will clarify about this in a moment. And then organization. Organization, which is essentially a social unit. We have an organization when we have at least two or more people. So these studies, these findings from organizational behavior can be used to analyze a large organization, but can be used also to analyze a very early stage startup with 2-3 people. Can be used to analyze the behavior in a group of students working on a term project. So the findings, what we will learn in this video lecture, will be valid for all these purposes. Managers do play a very important role in an organization. We can identify different perspectives from which we can study managers. One is the perspective of their management functions. The second one is the perspective of the roles that managers fulfill in the organization. And the final one is the skills of managers. So the first one, the functions of a manager. We can identify 4 main functions of a manager. Planning, defining the goals, establishing the strategy, organizing. So this will be related to all the coordination activities that managers need to do. Leading and motivate the team to achieve the goals that we identify with the planning function. In controlling, monitoring that we are achieving the goals that we set for our team. The second dimension of management that we are going to analyze is the roles that managers play in an organization. And there is literally a variety of roles that managers play in an organization. To simplify, we can categorize the roles into 3 main areas. Interpersonal roles, meaning basically how managers connect, work, collaborate with other people. And so here we will have like the leadership role, the liaison role when managers coordinate among different teams or business units or departments in the organization. Formal head role in the organization as well. The second one is informational roles. A big chunk of the time of a manager, and sometimes even the biggest time allocation, in the schedule of a manager is about information. Information means essentially to control what the team is doing, what the team is achieving, but also to disseminate information, transfer, share information, and also to be the spokesperson of a team in meetings and so on. And finally, the third category, decisional roles. So this is how the manager will make decision, how the manager will allocate resources, and also how the manager foster creativity. This is the entrepreneurial role of a manager, when the manager initiates new project, foster new initiative within the organization. The third element of management is the skills. And also here we can see multiple perspectives. One is the technical skills. Managers generally grow in the organization. They will start from a more technical role, business analyst, sales engineer, R&D engineer, and so on. And then as soon as they become more knowledgeable, more expert in their field, they will also receive some management responsibility. The second one is human skills. We've seen that most of the roles of management will be about coordinating with other people, disseminating information, and so on. So the human skill is extremely important. And the final one is conceptual skills. One of the functions of management at the end of the day is strategy, and strategy is probably one of the most challenging, demanding, daunting function that you can face in your career and work life, because this is where you need to be able to analyze complex problems, give a solution to complex problems, and set goals for your team and for your organization. I mentioned earlier that organizational behavior is actually a science. But why so? There are many contributions in academia about organizational behavior. And these contributions analyze organizational behavior at different levels, from individual level in the organization to group level, for example, a team, an office, a department, and finally to organizational system, the entire company, the entire organization. And of course, this type of analysis built upon each other. So what we learn at the individual level, then we can build the group level from what we learn at the individual level, and from what we learn at group level, we can build our model for organizational level. Organizational behavior is a transdisciplinary discipline, meaning that there are many different fields contributing to organizational behavior. From psychology, especially when it comes to the learning, the motivation, the training, persuasion, job satisfaction, and so on, to sociology, social psychology, anthropology, political science, and of course, management and economic studies. It's also important to remember that since organizational behavior is a science, it's not based merely on intuition of people. So oftentimes we have this misunderstanding, and we think when it comes to people, we just need to have some intuition. We just need to feel how other people think, how other people react. And as long as we are able to feel this, that's enough. However, this intuition, this approach is not a scientific approach. It could be right, but many times it's also wrong. So rather than using this type of approach, we should take advantage of what organizational behavior studied and then apply organizational behavior theories in everyday management of organization. One area where we can clearly see the role played by organizational behavior is how we can motivate people. And motivation is probably one of a foundational part that should be included in the business plan. How the entrepreneur plans to motivate the employees to achieve the very ambitious goals of a business plan. And finally, why should we as entrepreneurs study and learn about organizational behavior? So this is wrapped up in the following slide. There are many reasons for us to learn more about organizational behavior, for us to include this in our plan since the beginning and make sure that we address properly all the organizational behavior related matters. And the main reason, and all the factors mentioned in the slide are to an extent related to this main reason, is that the world is changing and becoming so much more complicated and diverse with so much more competition. For example, now we work in a fully globalized world where there is availability of talents, where our competitors are not only the people living in our neighborhood or in our city, but could be people living 10,000 kilometers away. So this makes, of course, so much more challenging for companies to find the right talents, and also for people to find the right companies to work with. There will be talents in Thailand that are working remotely for American companies, so when Thai company will struggle to find local talents, and so on and so forth. Diversity is now really one of the most important areas in human resource management. How to ensure that a very diverse team, which has many positive aspects, so much more innovation, so much more creativity, so many different viewpoints, but at the same time, keep together a team with multiple nationality is extremely challenging. We need to be honest about this. It's so much more challenging than having a team with people coming from the same nationality, the same religion, the same background, the same language, and so on. Quality and productivity, this is again a problem across most economies, and specifically in Asia Pacific, in emerging economy in Asia Pacific, there is a need of higher quality, higher productivity. Worldwide, we see a shortage of labor in some economies, Japan, Thailand, Singapore, South Korea, China as well, that are aging society or entering into the aging society stage. There is also a very serious shortage of laborers at every level. Customer service, this is also a major trend. In advanced economies in the US, customer service type of job, and all service type of job to some extent also include customer service, account for 80% of the jobs. In the UK, in Europe, service sector is somehow around like 60 to 70% of the total jobs. So the more the service sector grows, the more we need customer service mindset, because in the service sector, everyone, including lawyers, so medical doctors or professors, do need to have more customer-oriented mindset. Empowering people, with people feeling like abandoned, especially in the past 2-3 years of travel restriction, work from home, and so on. So empowerment is an important driver to keep talents in your organization. Uncertainty, temporariness, these again are issues that we face every day with evolving technology, evolving economic trends, evolving workplace, and so on. Innovation. If we are able to create an innovative workplace, then we also be able to attract innovative talent to work in our company. And finally, some themes that are generally highly valued by employees: the balance between the professional commitments and the personal life commitments, and also the ethical behavior. So to work ethically and also to work for an ethical organization, for an organization with an outstanding integrity. So all these are some of the reasons why entrepreneurs, since the very beginning, should pay attention to organizational behavior as a fundamental component of their business plan. So to conclude, what we analyze in this video, first is an introduction to organizational behavior. Second is the implication of organizational behavior in an organization. And so we analyze all the management function, the management roles, and the management skills. As a third point, we understood that organizational behavior is a science, is an academic discipline, which we can utilize to better define the behavior in our company, to better lead, to better motivate our employees. And finally, we went through some of the reasons why entrepreneurs should prioritize organizational management, organizational behavior as one of the most pressing elements when they build their venture. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!